Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel, your trusted source for deep dives into South Africa's most explosive political stories. In today's episode, we are unpacking a major legal and political blow for Julius Malema, one that's sending serious shockwaves through Parliament and across the country. The Western Cape High Court has just ruled against Malema's urgent attempt to block disciplinary proceedings in Parliament, and the implications could be massive, not just for him, but for the future of political accountability in South Africa. So, what does this landmark judgment mean for Parliament's authority, for the EFF's defiance, and for the build-up to the 2026 local government elections? Let's break it all down. Let's rewind to earlier this year, during the 2025 State of the Nation address. What was meant to be President Cyril Ramaphosa's opportunity to reassure the nation in a critical election year quickly descended into chaos. In a scene now infamous, EFF MPs, led by Malema, stormed the stage, interrupted proceedings, and had to be physically removed by security. Some viewers saw it as performative disruption. Others viewed it as a radical protest against what the EFF called a constitutional delinquent president. But no matter your view, one thing was clear: the Red Berets had crossed a line that Parliament could not ignore. In response to the incident, Parliament initiated disciplinary action against Malema and other EFF members involved in the disruption. This wasn't a light decision, it was a statement that Parliament intended to enforce its rules and reclaim its authority. But Malema wasn't going down without a fight. He turned to the courts, filing an urgent application in the Western Cape High Court to block the disciplinary process, arguing it was unlawful and politically motivated. Fast forward to this week, Judge Mogoatlheng has delivered a decisive ruling, dismissing Malema's application with costs. In a judgment that spares no words, the court found that Malema's challenge had no legal merit. According to Judge Mogoatlheng, Parliament has the constitutional right to discipline its members and to ensure the integrity of its proceedings. And this disruption, the court emphasized, was not protected political speech, it was a violation of the rules and an affront to the democratic process. This ruling is more than just a courtroom defeat for Julius Malema, it's a turning point. For years, the EFF has been able to dominate headlines by turning parliamentary sittings into political theater. They've disrupted, protested, and walked out of sessions, challenging the decorum of Parliament in the name of radical accountability. But this judgment may mark a line in the sand, a moment when the judiciary affirms Parliament's right to enforce discipline without fear or favor. So, what are the implications? First, this strengthens Parliament's institutional authority. After years of being accused of being toothless or hesitant to act against disruptive members, this judgment gives Speaker Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula and Parliament the legal backing to follow through. It sets a precedent: elected representatives may be radical, even confrontational, but they are not above the rules of Parliament. Second, this raises uncomfortable questions for the EFF. Will they double down on their tactics, portraying Malema as a political martyr? Or will this signal a moment of recalibration for a party that has built its brand on defiance? The EFF thrives on confrontation. But if legal and institutional frameworks begin to close in, the party will have to decide whether to escalate or evolve. Third, and perhaps most importantly, this ruling could signal a shift in how South Africa balances political expression with institutional stability. We are less than a year away from the 2026 local government elections. Tensions are already rising, coalitions are fracturing, and parties are staking out bold ideological ground. If this judgment is followed through, and disciplinary action proceeds, it could set a precedent for dealing with other MPs who undermine the integrity of Parliament, regardless of party affiliation. And it's not just the EFF that's watching. Other opposition parties like the DA and the IFP have been critical of the EFF's conduct but also wary of setting a precedent where the ANC uses parliamentary rules to silence dissent. That tightrope walk, between ensuring order and protecting opposition space, is a delicate one. But the court seems to believe Parliament can walk it, and now it's up to MPs to prove that they can act fairly and consistently. There's also the legal versus political accountability dynamic to consider. Malema has consistently used legal mechanisms to challenge what he sees as political targeting. Whether it's court battles over hate speech, corruption investigations, or internal party disputes, Malema has often positioned himself as the victim of state repression. But in this case, the court isn't buying that argument. The judgment sends a message that Parliament is not a lawless playground, and that elected leaders are not above institutional discipline just because they have a populist following. But make no mistake, this doesn't end here. Julius Malema is not the type to back down quietly. He's already hinted that the EFF will continue its campaign against what it sees as ANC authoritarianism. He may appeal the decision, or try to use the judgment as political fuel in the lead-up to the elections. And if Parliament proceeds with the disciplinary hearings, we can expect more fireworks, both inside the National Assembly and out in the streets. What happens next could shape the tone of South African politics for years to come. If Parliament holds firm and the judiciary continues to back institutional accountability, we may see a shift toward more disciplined, less chaotic legislative conduct. But if the EFF mobilizes public sympathy and pushes back hard, we could be entering an even more polarized era. The broader context also can't be ignored. The ANC is under immense pressure, struggling with corruption scandals, service delivery failures, and internal factionalism. For them, disciplining the EFF, and especially Malema, is a way to reassert control and project stability. But it's a risky gamble. The EFF remains popular among younger voters and disillusioned communities. And turning Malema into a political martyr could backfire, especially if the public perceives the disciplinary action as heavy-handed. So, as we look ahead to 2026, this case isn't just about Julius Malema or a single court ruling. It's about what kind of democracy South Africa is becoming. Will we have a parliament that commands respect and order, or one where spectacle and disruption dominate? Will our courts continue to draw the line between protest and procedural abuse? And will voters reward parties that fight the system, or those that work within it? Those are the questions that will define the months ahead. And now, we want to hear from you. Do you think the court made the right call by siding with Parliament? Is Malema being unfairly targeted, or is this long overdue accountability? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update on South Africa's most important political stories. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and see you next time.